Hi, my name is Cassie Terrell, and I'm doing my video over the history of tattoos and how they made their way into mainstream pop culture. I will mostly be doing the history in America, but I am going to start out with a brief history all over the world. Scientists uncovered the body of a man they call Otzi the Iceman, who they dated to 3000 BC, who had 61 vertical lines tattooed on his body where they think are acupuncture areas, so they think his tattoos were for healing. They also found mummified bodies in ancient Egypt, and a lot of them were women who had tattoos in the same area on their abdomen, their upper thighs, and breasts that might have been for health and safety during pregnancy and childbirth. Bodies have been uncovered from many different cultures that had tattoos. A lot of those cultures have tribal tattoos that have special meaning to their particular tribe. They get them for sexual maturity, for spiritualism, or religious purposes, many different things. And in America, they began appearing in the 1700s when sailors would adventure around the world and they would see tattoos and they would bring them back to the port cities and they would become popular in those port cities. And through the 1800s, they got more popular. Sailors are the ones that would be the most tattooed and come across tattoos more. So there was one sailor from Germany named Martin Hildebrandt. He had joined the U.S. Navy and he fought in the Civil War, and he is one that opened the very first tattoo shop in America. He mostly tattooed veterans, soldiers, and working class with the stick and poke method because there were no tattoo machines at that time, and he used vermilion and India ink for his pigments. Before needles, people would use rose thorns, shark teeth, different types of bones, and then rub soot or any other pigmented mineral that they could find into the tattoo for the color. Now, Martin Hildebrandt tattooed one of the first tattooed ladies named Nora Hildebrandt. They were supposedly husband and wife, but I don't think that they were actually married. Nora Hildebrandt became one of the first tattooed ladies in the circus and sideshows. Tattooed women in the circus and sideshows had to come up with a story of why they were fully tattooed. So Nora Hildebrandt's story was that she was traveling with her father, Martin Hildebrandt, which was not true, and that they got captured by Indian tribes. She said she was captured by a Sitting Bull in his tribe, which was one of the most feared tribes at the time, and they would only release her if she was tattooed from head to toe by her father over the span of 1 year. Her story also had sexual undertones for entertainment at the circus. This was her way of being accepted as a tattooed woman because technically she was forced into the tattoos, according to her story, and it wasn't her choice to get tattoos from head to toe. So let's move on to the 1890s when the first tattoo machine was invented by Samuel O'Reilly. Thomas Edison created an electric pen in 1876, and Samuel O'Reilly created the first electric tattoo machine in 1891 based off of Thomas Edison's model. He also created inks and pictures to sell. In the 1920s, women started getting permanent makeup tattooed, like eyebrows and lips, because makeup was becoming too expensive. In the 1930s is when Social Security numbers started coming out, and people were getting their Social Security number tattooed on their body to remember. In the 1940s, a man named Norman Keith Collins, also known as Sailor Jerry, came up with the concept of American traditional tattoos based off of American, Japanese, and Hawaiian art kind of mixed together. Sailor Jerry also created new pigments. He is one of the first tattoo artists to start using single-use needles and to start using an autoclave to sterilize tools. So tattoos before him, ooh. In the midst of World War II, many soldiers and veterans were very tattooed, and then also the rise of the television in the household is one thing that brought tattoos to a little bit more popularity. At some point between the 50s and the 70s is a point in time where some historians call the tattoo renaissance. It was where tattoos became more popular out in the public as opposed to private. This was about the same time that different movements were going on, and of course conservative culture was trying to push from any of that, but the civil rights movement and the sexual revolution were trying to break tradition, and they were burning their bras, they were taking birth control, and they were getting tattoos. Also in the 70s, there was a big drug culture, and people were becoming more artistic and creative, and tattoos started changing to more intricate, flowy, bigger pieces that were aesthetically pleasing rather than the older, like eagles, American flags, religion. There began to be more female tattooers, Bigger icons started getting tattoos, like Janis Joplin and other celebrities that people looked up to. And then we move on to the 80s, where there is a lot of rebellion. There's rock and roll, there's hair bands, there's punk, there's self-expression, bold, colorful tattoos. It's the MTV era, where celebrities are broadcasted on TV. So we entered the 90s, where upper arm tattoos become more popular, Chinese symbols, tribal. We have Pamela Anderson, who was a big sex symbol. She had the barbed wire tattoo on her upper arm, and that became very popular. So tattoos are becoming more socially acceptable. They're no longer only for bikers, gangs, soldiers, veterans. More women are seen getting them in the public. They're becoming in more public places. In the early 2000s, there was a fashion trend called low-rise jeans and tramp stamps, and I'm saying that in quotations because that's just what it was called. But the tattoo on the lower back that was very popular and that always showed with your low-rise jeans and crop top. In 2005 is when the very first TV show about tattoos and tattoo artists aired, called Miami Ink on TLC, and it kind of took away some of the mystery of tattoo artists. People saw that they can be charismatic and very artistic and less scary. This was just before the big boom of the internet, where YouTube came about, and people had computers, but not as widely as they do today, and people had not yet had iPhones and things that you could just have ready, easy access to. So after Miami Ink aired, there were spin-offs like New York Ink, LA Ink, and then Ink Master started airing in 2012, and then social media started getting bigger, and now you can follow your favorite tattoo artists. People now more than ever can see the artistic side of things, the expression, the different reasons behind getting a tattoo, and you don't have to go inside a sketchy tattoo shop or a scary place to see this, and it becomes more acceptable to everyone. There are tattoo conventions all over the world, all over the United States, everywhere, and you can go and experience, you can watch people get tattooed, you can see the type of people that are tattooed, and you can go and have fun and do different things there. You can even bring your kids to the tattoo conventions, and through social media, you see that now professionals and higher class people are getting tattooed. You see pictures of doctors with their coat on and without their coat on, fully tattooed, and they're still professional. This topic means a lot to me because I am tattooed. I've been with a tattoo artist for the past 8 years. I've had my teaching degree for the past 7 years. It has not affected me professionally. I usually keep them covered at jobs, but my employers have not cared. And that is how tattoos slowly but surely made their way to mainstream pop culture through TV, social media, celebrities, high-class people getting them in the public rather than private. Which brings me to the point of my video, because I want tattoos to be seen as more professional, that you can still have tattoos in a professional environment and you can still do your job just like anybody else, just with tattoos.